shooting star. Very angsty and gut-wrenching. Oh, guess who had the best reading month ever? Me. It's me. I did. I have literally never been so lucky with my reads ever. This was crazy. I read 9 books this month, and out of 9, 4 of them were 5-star reads. Excuse me? This has never happened before. My average rating was 4.11. I don't think my average rating has ever been above a 4, so that is crazy. And there's also nothing below a 3-star. I don't know if I'm just getting easier. I don't think that was it though, because I was trying to be critical at the end of the month. I was like, how did I have 4 or 5 stars? Was I just like handing them out willy-nilly? Like, what was I doing? But I went back and looked at them and like, no, they deserve this rating. It was just a good month for me. Got to get the laptop because I have the memory of a goldfish. Okay, 9 books total. Like I said, average rating was 4.11. Now for the genre breakdown. Dang, I had a range this month. I read 1 magical realism book, 2 romances, 1 dark academia book, 2 romances, 1 fantasy, 1 literary fiction, and 1 social justice book. There is not a genre I didn't read except nonfiction. You will not catch me reading nonfiction in any of these reading wrap-ups. So sorry. Now let's talk about the book. Oh wait, no. I forgot. Before we talk about the books I read, I wanted to do a quote of the month in these reading wrap-ups because I like quotes and I want to share my favorite one each month with everyone else so we can all admire it together. So my favorite one this month, back to this, was from The Library of Shadows by Rachel Moore, that was the dark academia book I read this month. We'll talk about it later. When you love someone, it's like building a library and filling the shelves. It doesn't matter how many years it's been since Austen wrote Emma or Fitzgerald wrote This Side of Paradise. We can still pull them from the bookcases and dive back into the words, the same as the day they were written. All the years and memories are still right there, cataloged inside us. That's beautiful. The lighting is so bad. My face is like half black, half white. I'm filming this video in my closet. Usually I film sit-down videos in front of my bookshelf or on my bed or something, but that's just not gonna work today because my whole room is being renovated. The bed is taken apart. My library, all the books have been taken out of the bookshelf. The bookshelf has been taken apart, spread apart. The floor, the wood has been taken off. And so it's just cement and everything looks ugly in my room. The closet is the only thing being unchanged. So we just gotta deal with this for a video. It's fine. Even though the lighting is really bad, we're just gonna have to deal with it. Anyway, you're here for the reading wrap-up of March. I forgot what month we were just in for a second there, and we were there for 31 days. Embarrassing. The first book I read in March was I Am Not Jessica Chen by Anne Liang, and this was a 5-star. First book of the month, and it was a 5-star. Amazing start to the month. This is about a girl who goes to this super academically competitive private school, and she's struggling to live up to everyone else. She says everyone else around her succeeding, getting A+, joining all these extracurriculars, and she's jealous. And her cousin is one of these people that everyone looks up to. She gets straight A's, highest in the class. She's in all these extracurriculars, and she's jealous, and she wants to be her essentially. And then, also a big plot point in this is that her cousin gets into Harvard, and that is her dream school. That's where she wants to go. She gets rejected, and that same night that she receives the news that she was rejected and her cousin was accepted, she sees a shooting star, and she wishes that she were Jessica. When she wakes up this next morning, she is indeed Jessica. I loved this book so much. I love Anne Liang's writing. Her writing is so beautiful. It is simple, but so pretty. Like, it's pretty without being purple prosy, but it's also simple without being too simple and boring. You know, it's just like the perfect mix. I love her writing so much. One of my favorite writers ever. And I feel like she just gets what it's like to be a student struggling in academia with academic burnout and stress and living up to parents' expectations, everything. She just gets it. And I just felt so seen when reading this because I was one of those students who was a perfectionist and wanted to be the best. I was highly competitive in school. And this character just gets it. This author just gets it. And so I just felt so seen when reading this. And there's a romance in here between her and one of her friends, Erin, Kai, and oh my god, the romance in this was so good. It's like this genius kid who's super nice to everyone. except her. But he's not like mean to her. He just like teases her. But she's the only one that he likes to tease. And I love that so much. I love that so much. She's like special to him. And the romance, the banter and the teasing and everything was just so cute. Oh, this was a 5-star. I love this so much. It was so realistic and relatable. And I say realistic as if there was a magical realism, but just like the way the characters felt and acted, I felt like were so realistic. Love the writing, the romance, like everything about this. Beautiful, amazing. I will read anything this woman writes. And then the second book I read was A Midnight Ruin by Katee Robert. This was a 3-star. Didn't love this one as much, but honestly, almost nothing can compare to Aunt Liang. So this is a polyamorous romance. It is a retelling of the Orpheus, Eurydice, and I don't know how to say his name. Charon? 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 I don't know. Charon? I don't know. I don't know how to say his name. But that guy. That guy. Hades is like henchman. Him. Eurydice kind of had this thing for Charon, who they have been friends for a long time, and she has been making moves, but he has never reciprocated. And finally, when this book starts, he reciprocates. And so they're getting it on. And then Eurydice has this second chance romance with Orpheus. He used to date, he betrayed her, they broke up. Now he wants her back. And he is willing to have her even if she's with Charon and Charon likes her enough, he's willing to have her with Orpheus. So you get a throuple. This one for me was a bit too smutty. The first half was just smut, and I feel like there was no emotional connection, no plot. I was extremely bored because I can't read a book that's just smut. I need something else. I don't mind smut, but it can't just be smut, you know? The second half I liked a lot more. There was actually a plot. There was this huge plot surrounding the dangers of the city, and I actually got really invested once we got to the plot and we started to get more emotional. It wasn't just smut, there was still some smut in the second half, but it was a lot less and it was more emotional, plot heavy, and I started to actually enjoy it. But just because the first half I was so not into, I can't give it anything more than 3 stars. It's like half the book, not into, half the book I was into. So it's, I feel like a 3-star is like there. It's in the middle. I don't know if I will be reading anything else from this series. This was the first one I read. I went way out of order. This is like book number 6, I think. Yeah, book number 6. I haven't read anything else from the series, and I don't know if I'm going to unless someone says that the other books are significantly better, because I didn't love this, and I'm not sure I would love those either. Then I read Library of Shadows. This is a dark academia YA romance mystery book. It's all sorts of genres. This follows Estee, who enrolls in this boarding school because she wants to find out information about her dad, who died, and he used to go here, and he left her this key when he died that opens up to the spire of the school. So she enrolls in the school to find out what was happening in the school. Oh, also, this is pretty important. I can't believe I didn't say this first, but this is a haunted school. It's like one of the most haunted schools in the country. So there's ghosts. See this guy? He's a ghost. And that's love interest. Have fun. She goes there and she's investigating, and he is like, oh, I know what that key leads to. Let me take you there. So they go up to the spire, and when they get there, he steals a book and he frames her for it. I don't want to say anymore because I feel like I'll spoil something on accident. So we're just gonna leave it at that. That's what happens in the beginning of the book. Then you go from there. This was so good. I loved the vibes. The dark academia vibes were immaculate. Most of this book is set in the archives of the school, and there's books everywhere, and there's a ladder, and she's like whee on the ladder around the book, like flying through the books. Like, oh my gosh, the aesthetics, amazing. And I also loved the romance. She is very snarky and snippy. And he loves to tease her, and it was just a fun dynamic. And I love the mystery elements and the investigating. I thought it was so much fun. I really, really enjoyed this. And I was really surprised because the rating on this book is, the Goodreads rating on this book is like 3.52 or something like that. 3.54, I don't know. That's pretty low. I usually don't read books with a rating that low, but this just, something about it was just calling to me, so I decided to take a chance on it, and I loved it. Okay, there's a little bit of a change in scenery. I had to go tend to some family matters, and then when I came back to my room, all of a sudden I was really inspired to do another video. Wasn't in a wrap-up mood anymore. All of a sudden I really wanted to do this. I won't say what this video is. I don't know if it's out yet, or if it's gonna be out after this, because my posting schedule is just kind of random. I don't really plan it. I'm just like, whichever one ends up getting done first gets posted first. So I don't know when you're gonna see this video, but you'll find out soon what this is all about. Anywho, back to the wrap up. The next book I read, I'm so excited to talk about. It is another 5-star. And this book is Immortal by Lynn. This book took me some time to get into. I wasn't instantly attached to the characters or the world or the plot or the romance or anything. At first I was a little bit indifferent, I'm not gonna lie. But once that first plot twist hits, there's a huge plot twist. It happens kind of early on, and then once that plot twist hits, this book gets so good. It feels like a completely different book. Like, if you start this and you're like unsure about it at first, keep going, because it gets so much better. After the first plot twist, the whole romantic dynamic changes, and in the best way possible. It is so much more interesting, and there's so many more layers, and everything just gets so good. So just stick with it. If you're not instantly in love, stick with it. Trust me, it gets so much better. I just realized I never even told you the plot of this. Oopsie, I always forget to do that. This is about a girl named Liang who gets poisoned, and her grandfather, who is the leader of a region, steals a lotus flower to cure her. It's the only known antidote, and this lotus belongs to the queen, and he steals it from the queen. Obviously, that's no good. Then he gets summoned by the queen to have a little friendly chat about his crime. And so he has a meeting with the queen and her right-hand man, the god of war, who is the love interest. During that chat, he ends up dying, and Liang blames the immortals for her grandfather's death. Once she inherits the throne, I guess, she's not like a queen. It's just like a leader. She's a leader. She vows to make the immortals pay. She gets invited to the immortal realm, and she acts as a spy there to try to take them down. It's very interesting. This is set in the same world as Daughter of the Moon Goddess, but you don't have to read that first. I didn't, and I didn't have any problems with the world building or the characters or anything. You can definitely just start with this one and you'll be totally fine. I love this so much. The writing is absolutely stunning. It is so beautiful. There are so many beautiful quotes. I wish I owned this book so that I could underline and tab and annotate, because it is so beautiful, especially the things that MMC says. Oh my gosh. In my reading vlog, this is going to be in a reading vlog, I share some of those quotes and you'll see what I mean. This is a beautiful book. The things that come out of his mouth are like poetry, literal poetry. Shakespeare could never. And the pacing was so fast. This is such a fast-paced book, but it's not too fast that you can't get attached. I got very much attached. Reading the book, white-knuckled the entire time, because not a single dull moment. Boom, boom, boom. That's what this book felt like. I think one of the best things about this though is the plot twists. Oh my goodness. I did not see a single one coming. Not a single one. I don't know if that's just me being naive or if this author is just a genius. Probably the latter. Probably a little bit of the former too, but I did not see a single one of these plot twists coming, and they were all so good. My jaw on the floor. Genuinely some of the best plot twists I have ever read my whole entire life, and that is not an exaggeration. I know I'm prone to exaggerating, but this is not an exaggeration. Genuinely the best plot twist I've ever read. It was so good, and there wasn't just one big plot twist, there was multiple, and they all hit the spot. I'm also obsessed with the MMC, the god of war. Oh my goodness, he is the love of my life, actually. He is so protective, and the things he says, I can't even. You need to watch the reading vlog. I'm gonna read this in my March CBR video. Watch it just to see the quotes and see some of the things he says, because holy cow, he speaks in literal poetry sometimes. Shakespeare could never. He is beautiful. The words he says, beautiful. He's just everything to me. There's a scene where he jumps into a deep body of water for her, and man can't even swim. He was ready to drown for this woman. That's how devoted he is to her. I love him. If he was this book, I would just hug. I love this book, and I love this man, and I also love Liang. I love the romance. This book was just a masterpiece, and I'm giving it 5 stars. I don't care that the beginning was not my favorite. Once it gets going, it is the best thing ever. Wait, I didn't even talk about the romance, I don't think. Let me talk about the romance for a second, because that also deserves some praise. They are a couple that loves to bicker and banter, and I love that so much. And it was extra fun, because a lot of the time, the bickering and the banter would turn into flirting. And it was just so good. And they also bring angst, and not only are they bringing the fun, entertaining banter, they're also bringing the sad, angsty scenes. They double whammy. You get the angsty, saddy goodness, because he's an immortal falling for immortal, and she's gonna die eventually, and he's gonna be left alone. And I don't care how many times that trope has been done. It's been done so many times before in fantasies. I don't care. I will eat it up every time. I love the angstiness of that trope. In conclusion, this book was absolutely amazing, and I would definitely recommend it to any romantic lover out there. If you love a good quote and plot twist that will emotionally ruin you, this one right here, you need to read it right now. You will not regret it. Trust me, if you ever trusted me before, trust me on this. You need to read this book. Okay, thank you for listening. And then the next book I read was The Lost Sisters by Holly Black. I read this as an ebook. I'll put a little picture right here. This is a Cruel Prince novella that follows the FMC's sister Taryn, who, if you've read the original trilogy, you know how we feel about Taryn. Like that. That's how we feel about Taryn. She is a universally disliked character, and Holly Black wrote this book to, I guess, redeem her and try to make us see her perspective, try to make us understand her a little more so we could like her. And it actually surprisingly worked. I don't know how this happened. I went to this fully expecting to give this 1 star, which I don't usually go into books with that mindset. I go into books thinking I'm gonna like them. I just read this because I wanted to finish the series. I didn't think I was gonna like it. I actually did like it. Was not expecting that at all. I literally thought that I was gonna give this 1 star and still be pissed at Taryn, and I thought my mind was not gonna change at all. Suffice to say, my mind did change. It was hard not to feel a little bit of sympathy towards her because she pours her heart and soul into these pages. I just couldn't not feel for her, you know? I guess most people still didn't really like her character. The average Goodreads rating is like 3.3. I gave this 4. I really felt for her. She was just a girl that wanted to be loved. And I don't know, I just felt bad for her. A lot of people said this is just a book of excuses. And it didn't feel that way to me because she never tried to sugarcoat her mistakes. She acknowledges that she made bad decisions, and she's just telling us how it all happened. She's just trying to explain herself. I don't think she was ever trying to excuse it, just trying to explain how it happened. But, like, she never sugarcoats that she made mistakes. She definitely says, I made a mistake, you know? One thing I really appreciate about this is that we get to see some of Taryn's cunning. I really, really like that. Because in the original trilogy, she came across as, like, not to be mean, but she came across as a bit of a love-struck, naive fool. I mean that in the nicest way possible. In this book, you learn that she actually is playing the game, just differently than Jude. I really liked seeing the cunning mastermind in her make moves. I thought that was so much fun. I also really like the way it was written. This is told as, it's written as a letter to Jude. It's an apology letter to Jude, and I just really liked that writing style. It was very unique. It made it feel more intimate and personal, which is why I think I actually was able to forgive Taryn and see her side of things, because it was told like a personal letter to her sister. It made me feel way more connected to her, and I guess their relationship too. You don't need to read this if you're reading the Cruel Prince trilogy. It's not necessary, however, I would recommend that you do, because it really makes you see things in a different light. I also skip novellas in series sometimes because I feel like a lot of the times with popular series, the novella just feels like a money grab and it's not actually adding anything to the story. But this actually gave me something. We got so much from Taryn's perspective that we never got from Jude's, so I feel like this actually was a necessary addition. I just can't believe I actually like this. It's crazy to me that I actually liked a book from Taryn's perspective, considering how much I just wanted to her when I was reading The Cruel Prince and The Wicked King. So yeah, 4 stars. It's not a 5 because despite my newfound sympathy for Taryn, she still annoyed me a little bit. I'm back. I am becoming such a little busybody. I just took all the books that were here in the background for like 5 seconds and put them somewhere else. I just cannot sit still and do this video. Every time I finish talking about a book, I want to go do something else. I'm having such a hard time doing a wrap up. I don't know why. Usually I love talking about books and I can sit and talk about them forever. I don't know why. I just like have a million things going on in my head and I want to keep stopping to go do those things. This shirt is getting so wrinkly. Why does it look so wrinkly all of a sudden? Okay, back to the video. I'm standing here and I'm going to finish. I'm not allowed to move until I finish this wrap up. I don't know what is going on with me. I don't know why my brain wants to do a million different things at once, but I need to stop and get this done. Okay. The next book I read is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I am going to have a full spoiler reading vlog for this book coming out eventually. I haven't even started editing for it, but hopefully it will be out in April. I do have some bad news though. Unfortunately, I did not love this. I ended up giving it 3 stars. I read it with my friend, and that was honestly the best part of this book. I feel like if I told people in real life that I hated this book, I would get punched in the face. People are so passionately in love with this book, and I love that for them. Yay! Yay for you guys. I just didn't love this. This follows 4 friends from their young adult years until they are old and senile and gray. It tells their very sad, very traumatic life stories, which I really like that part. I liked how we stayed with the same characters for decades because we got really attached to those characters. And I just haven't read a lot of books that are formatted in this way, where we're following them from their entire life. Usually it's like we're following them for a year or like a couple months. No, in here we go through like 80 years with these people, and I really like that aspect of this. One of the complaints I have though is that these characters never grow in the 80 or so years we spend with them. They have the same personalities and values and motivations at 20 that they do at 85. They never really change or grow. Nothing substantial about them changes, and I feel like that was not realistic at all. People change, people grow, especially when they're going through big, huge traumatic life changes like this. Like, people are gonna be affected by it and they're gonna change in some way, and these characters just never did. They were exactly the same people through every stage of their life. Same strengths and weaknesses, same personalities, same career goals. Like, nothing was changing. And after a certain point, it started to really bother me, and then it never stopped bothering me after I realized that these people were not changing and growing. I just couldn't get over it because I was like, how in 80 years did these people never change? Like, I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago. You know, people change, people grow, especially when, like, from their 20s. Like, people change from that age. They are not going to be the same people like that. People really like this book because it's sad, and it was sad. Some of the storylines were very hard-hitting and impactful to me, but then after a certain point, it felt like way too much trauma, and it was just happening to happen, and it wasn't even serving a purpose. Like, it was every single traumatic thing the author could think to throw at the characters would happen, and then we wouldn't really do anything with it. It was just happening to happen. There was purpose to some of it. I understood why some of it was included, but then after a certain point, it was just like, okay, why is this here? Why was this needed? We weren't even doing anything with that storyline. It was just there to be sad and for nothing else. Like, Jude and the monastery, that was an important storyline. It served a lot of purpose, but then the camp counselors, like, what was the point of that storyline? Why was that needed at all? It didn't change him in any way. It didn't really change the story in any way. It just wasn't needed. And I feel like there was a lot of storylines like that just were not needed at all. I feel like this would have been more impactful if we focused on like 2 or 3 big traumatic storylines and really, really delved into how that affected Jude, instead of having 20 horrible things happen to them and then some of them were just like glossed over. They just like happen and then it's over and then nothing changes. I just feel like, what was the point? Oh, I did really also like the strong friendship theme in this. This book is getting heavy. I need to stop talking about it because I'm weak. And my arm's starting to hurt from holding it. Then I read Ever After Always by Chloe Liese. This is a marriage and crisis story, which very hit or miss for me. Like, sometimes it's very angsty and gut-wrenching and other times it's annoying. And guess which one this one was? Yeah, it was the latter. This one was pretty annoying because the whole book just stemmed on miscommunication, and I don't love that. How have you been married for almost 10 years and you don't know how to talk to each other? What? How does that happen? You shouldn't have been married in the first place if you can't talk. That's how I was feeling while reading this. These characters do not tell each other anything. Nothing important. They just have it going on in their heads, and then they go do their thing, and they don't tell each other anything, and then they wonder why their marriage is falling apart. I wonder why. Also, the guy-on-guy dialogue in this, so bad. It is some of the worst men's dialogue I've ever read. And I don't know how I didn't notice this in the first book. In the series, I noticed in the second one, I was like, okay, men don't talk like this. And I especially noticed in this one because it was like watching the Hallmark Channel, but worse. It was worse than Hallmark Channel men, which I didn't think we could get more unrealistic than that, but they were more unrealistic than that. Why are they just constantly talking about Shakespeare? And I don't even know. The Shakespeare thing is the main thing. Like, why are they just all quoting Shakespeare? Who are these guys? Whenever the men would have a scene together, just men, I would be pulled out of the story because their conversations were so unrealistic, and I could not imagine anyone actually speaking like this, and I'd just be pulled out of the story, and no. I did really like the body positivity in here, though, and what was I gonna say? Oh, the anxiety representation for men, also really good. I did like those 2 mini storylines. They felt real. Oh, and I really like the grand gestures. Aiden did a couple big grand gestures, and I'm a hopeless romantic, so I love that. But everything else about this was just a huge miss for me. Oh, I also did like seeing the side characters from the first book. I really loved the first book in this series, and then it's been going downhill since. But I like seeing my babies from that first book. 3 stars. Then I picked up Lost and Lassoed by Lyla Sade. I love this so much. This was a 5-star and a very, very easy 5-star. I thought this was probably my favorite read of the month. Cowboys and cowgirls are my weakness, so what can I say? I love Teddy and Gus so much, especially Teddy. She is one of my favorite FMCs ever. Ever. She is so loud and fun, and she's like so entertaining. I adore her. And Gus is very broody and grumpy, and I love that too. They are everything to me. This is about a single dad who is co-parenting, but the mother of his child went out of town to go do business work things, and he's really struggling with having to take care of his daughter on his own. He doesn't really know what he's doing. He doesn't have the time. It's just a lot going on for him because he's trying to take care of his ranch and he's trying to take care of his child, and it's too much for one person to handle on their own, so he hires a nanny. And that nanny is none other than Teddy. This was such a fun time. I love the characters, like I said, and I love their banter. These two hate each other. Didn't mention that. They hate each other. Do not like each other at all. And so the banter you get is very snarky. That's the best kind of banter in my opinion. And we got so much of it in here. I also really like the friendship aspect of this. We get a very, very, very strong female friendship, and I'm a female, so I love seeing female friendship. Teddy and Emmy's friendship is so supportive and sweet and loving, and I loved seeing it. It was so heartwarming. I love them. And I like that it was such a big aspect of this book. I feel like usually a friendship is not, it'll be like a really minimal part of the story. Not here. I feel like the friendship was such a big aspect of this book, and I loved seeing just such a supportive, healthy female friendship. There was no petty drama. I just loved the friendship so much, and I loved seeing it. I loved everything about this book. I have no critiques whatsoever. This is definitely my favorite in the series so far. I think this is my favorite small town romance series, honestly. I have loved every book in the series, especially this one. It's just such a fun time, and I love it. These books are so short and easy to binge. I love it, and I'm so excited that the 4th book's coming out really soon. I cannot wait to read it, mostly for the breadcrumbs of Teddy and Gus. And then last but not least, I read The Hate U Give. I'm so late to the party with this one, but whatever. I'm just glad I read it. This is about a girl named Star who is in the car with her friend when they get pulled over by police, and her best friend ends up getting shot and killed unjustly by the police officer. And then we're following her deal with the trauma from that situation and deciding what to do next. Like, does she want to stay silent to protect herself and her family, or does she want to speak up to get justice for Khalil? This is such an important and relevant book. I definitely see why my local school is not making this required reading. Yeah, definitely agree with that decision. This is so relevant, especially today when we see so much police brutality in the media, especially against Black people and other people of color. I feel like there's just so much to learn in this book, and I think everyone should read it. It is marketed as YA. That is the primary audience. But, like, I'm 22. I'm an adult. I think anyone could read this and enjoy it. And I think everyone should read it just because of how relevant it is today. Another 5-star read. Best reading month ever, I'm telling you. This was so realistic and relevant. There were so many parallels between this case. This is a fictional case, but there were so many parallels between this and cases in real life of police brutality. Even though this is a fictional case, it feels so real because the author obviously took inspiration from real life events. She made this very, very realistic. She also does bring up cases that have happened in real life, especially the Emmett Till case gets a lot of attention in this. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna repeat it. Everyone should read this book. It's very educational, and it's just very important for people to be aware of these things and to educate yourselves, and I feel like this is a great book to educate yourselves on. I also really liked the strong family theme. Family is very, very big in this book, and their relationships with each other, they were really heartwarming and sweet. I loved the relationships in this book. Especially her relationship with her dad was so sweet. And I recently found out the dad has a prequel book, and I cannot wait to read that because I loved his character, and I cannot wait to have him as a lead. I'm so excited. Cannot wait to pick that book up after this. The only critique I have for this book is that there is a lot of shaming women for how they dress and wearing too much makeup and their hair and stuff, and I just don't love that. Don't love the shaming women for things that are silly like that. I feel like it mostly happened with Aisha. She got shamed a lot for how she dressed, and Aisha did so many things that I would have been like, okay, yeah, shame her for that. Like, the way she treats her kid is terrible. Like, I wish we focused just on that instead of how she wears short dresses. I just don't care. And I don't like when women get shamed for that sort of thing. It's always bugged me. That's the only critique, though. I'm not docking it a star over that, just because I feel like that definitely wasn't the focal point of this book. And it only happened like 5 times or so, but it is something that bugged me, so I thought I'd mention it. But still, I would recommend this to everyone. I'm so glad this is the book we're ending on. We started with a 5-star, ended with a 5-star. That's amazing. I had the best reading month ever. I still can't believe what a good reading month I had. I've never been so lucky with my books. And I probably never will be again. Okay, that was the last book. So we're done with this video. I'll see you all in April when I talk about all the books I read. Bye!